Can you all hear me in the back? Okay, turn this on. Sorry. It's all down the power button. Just hold down the left button.
Hello?
I'm a little sensitive to the time because I know we have about 45 minutes until Colin Powell. I'm curious, how many here plan to go to the Colin Powell then? 1, 2.
I am.
Okay. Well, welcome, Rex. I know you already introduced yourself. That was an amazing film. It was great to see. I guess I'll do brief introductions for Jack and you, Ubo. Thank you both so much for being here. It's great to have you here. Jack Healey is the director of the Human Rights Action Center here in D.C. It's a 501c3 nonprofit, and he started it after his time in Amnesty International, which he was the head of for 12 years. Jack has an extensive record that I couldn't possibly, if I wanted to, go through here, but includes starting the walkathon and marching with Dr. King, among a list of other things. So thank you, Jack, for being here. Bo Hla Tint, thank you also for being here. He is a former member of the Parliament in Burma from 1990. It is also an extreme honor for you to be here. Rex, I'd like to start with you. What were your initial impressions, your initial reactions when you put this all together? And what did you want people to take away from this when they saw it?
Well, I'd like to hear what people have taken away. I've made my statement, I think, about the spirit of this remarkable man and the equally remarkable character who made it possible, namely Michael Mittermeier. I was also, it's, if you like, you hope to get several layers in the film, and one of them is humour under dictatorship. What is this human force? Why are they so afraid? Why do they have to try and repress and suppress the artists? This happens in many countries of the world. So, but above all, it's a campaigning film to bring attention to Zaganar, and through him, over 2,000 political prisoners in Burma. It's about not forgetting. Someone said to me at the Munich Film Festival when we premiered there, this is a film about absence and loss. I think I'll leave it at that if I may at the moment.
That's great. And what exactly what's the message? How do you want this to impact the Burmese democracy movement? Is there a larger message here?
Well, I'm appealing to not just Burmese activists, great as they are. I'm appealing to students and the general public who've come along to see this, to make them aware of such a man and some glimpse into this country with all the limitations that I found, and I shared these limitations in the film. So I hope people, and the many screenings I've done, people have often come up to me and said, look, what can we do? And there are a number of things you can do.
Jack, I'm going to move to you. You do a lot of new media and activism, and it's your way of promoting it. For those of you who don't know, Jack did a Burma spot where every day for 30 days they had celebrities running, talking about Burma, trying to get the word out there. Jack, how do you see this fitting in to what Rex just talked about?
I think in some ways the rising up of a new figure in Burma is a terribly important thing to do. Aung San Suu Kyi is an immense figure in the world. She won her own Nobel, she won an election, highly intelligent, extremely beautiful. I think somewhat of an unreachable figure now in a certain sense, and our work begins real hard now because we got to get her to the presidency or the prime ministership. But I think Zaganar offers us another opportunity that the working people of the world can relate to and find, and it adds strength to us, I think. And I think we ought to try and get Zaganar the Nobel. I think we ought to think big. I think we ought to use this film to launch that effort. I believe in comedy because I saw it in Dr. Martin Luther King's comedian, was Dick Gregory. Dick was the first black man to integrate the white stage in the United States at Hugh Hefner's Playboy Club one night. And he found out the professor, his name was Corey, I think, and he was drunk, and he said to Dick in a black club, he said, Dick, you have to go to this new club over there. It's a white club, I know, but I'm drunk, I can't go. I want you to go over. He said, well, who's going to be there? He said, well, a whole bunch of Southerners. So Dick said, oh, I'll do that. So he went over and fried them, and sliced and diced them, and they got a standing ovation. And Hugh Hefner signed it that night for the $50,000 check. And he became Dr. King's comedian, and Dr. King would send him in early to the struggles in Birmingham and different cities that are famous, Selma. And Dick would rouse up and agitate the powers to be. So I learned early in life that there is immense power in comedy and the healing power of comedy. I think back to the overall struggle is, now that Suu Kyi is free, it looks like the campaign could settle down too easy, too low. Our real hard work begins now of really moving her to move the military back into the barracks and moving her to the prime ministership and the leader of her country.
And I know every time you see a new piece of media, especially when it deals with Burma, you think about how it could be used to get activism, to raise awareness. We talked, the last time we spoke, you said that you wanted those Shepherd Fairey Aung San Suu Kyi posters to be distributed to every member of the House and Senate and have them posted up on the walls there. How would you...
I should tell you about a comedian. First time I met Jim Carrey, we were talking about how we could do a spot for Aung San Suu Kyi, and the first one, we never did this one, but we should do it at some point. First, I wanted to try and get Americans to be able to pronounce her name, so we did that. You'll see that on YouTube. But the other one he wanted to do was be in this very expensive Italian restaurant in Malibu, and he'd sit by himself in the back of the room, and there'd be hidden cameras. And what he'd do is, in the middle of this very expensive meal with all these rich people there, he would just stand up and start screaming at the top of his lungs, and then be quiet and sit down, and then he would say, Burma. And that was going to be our spot. But you should know the 30 spots were begun by Jim Carrey, Will Ferrell, Judd Apatow, comedic fame of film, and Jim Carrey, and who was our other one? We have one more. Will Ferrell.